Welcome to the motion pictures.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Is Lisa alive today? The answer is not very. Today we present to you a unique but worse but not terrible version of a quirky high school zombie human romantic comedy. Each different piece of this genre has been done before to a degree. It's called Lisa Frankenstein. It's not the main character's real name, of course, but rather Lisa Swallows, as in doesn't spit. But getting spit out on the 9th of February in 2024, this lonely teenage girl in the year 1989 sees a long-dead zombie from the 19th century break into her home after she accidentally wishes it alive from the cemetery. It's unknowable why she didn't call the cops, but of course wouldn't have a motion picture if she did the smart thing. But instead, this turns into one of those secret pet Iron Giant type flicks where she finds an evil seeming creature that she instead decides to keep for herself, clean off, and let live in her closet. Eventually, he, known as the creature, just like the original Frankenstein book, and played by Cody from The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, ends up returning the favor by murdering a few people she doesn't like to keep a body part from each to attach to and try to make the zombie whole again, hence the Frankenstein side of the story. Does that make enough sense to you? We first examine the big boy's reaction to the 101-minute horror rom-com. It gets a sideways thumb from the intellectual critics. It tries to blend too many genres together in a way that doesn't make it good enough for either of them. 80s style high school, rom-com, vampy horror. It actually just looks better than its story. The production design is creative, old-fashioned, colorful, nostalgic. The parody of the classics. It doesn't build a strong enough center. The verdict of the critics is a 5.25. Okay, but just not good enough to get a thumbs up. The MPAA rating we have here is one of them lengthies. PG-13 for violent content, bloody images, sexual material, language, sexual assault, teen drinking, and drug content. Makes you think, if this came out in 1989, it must have been rated ARG. There's actually not much to add in the secondary opinion of the casual motion picture goer. Everyman naturally has a similar but a slightly lower stance to the critics. This had the potential to be a zombie version of Edward Scissorhands, but it couldn't fulfill it enough. Its ambition was existent, but misguided and often hollow. If you're gonna take away 2 hours of my life, at least make it significantly funny, scary, or dramatic. It tries to be a jack of many trades when it could have been a master of one. Or two. It gets a partially lame 4.5 of 10 for the Everyman, with a B for effort. Now for what was good and bad about its section of the program, starting with likes, all of which are not particularly strong but marginal. Our first like is a reminiscence file. 3 motion pictures come to mind out of Lisa Frankenstein, 2 of them also being secret pet flicks. Edward Scissorhands was just mentioned. You're reminded of such thanks to the attractive throwback production design, along with the quirky zombie story, which John Depp's character isn't so far off from. Warm Bodies in 2013 did zombie human romance better, including thanks to a more positive premise. A little funnier too. It features a male zombie during an apocalypse helping a living woman stay alive instead. The murder side of the plot reminds of another Winona Ryder high school motion picture, Heathers. I appreciate the nostalgic bases, even though all the 3 other flicks are better. The lots of pink and purple make for a sometimes interesting color scheme, but negatively there are also a lot of dark and gloomy colors otherwise. Let's mention a couple little funny jokes in the picture. Just the fact that Lisa Swallows was named Lisa Swallows got laughs, even though I didn't catch any related oral sex jokes. Then in another early scene, Dad tells his stepsister, who asks Lisa if she's busy Saturday night, that she never has anything to do on Saturdays because she doesn't have a boyfriend. Because she's flat-chested. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Lastly, for likes, there is a great line spoken to the creature. Lisa states that people often say time heals all wounds, but that's false. Time is the wound, she says. She then explains in certain words that the passage of time makes you forget about all the good times you had with what or who you lost. It's a dearly relatable point made about such a frustrating cliche and ineffective cheer-up slogan. Thanks to the writing of Diablo Cody. Here now we move right over to the spoilers section, as we have no dislikes that are non-spoilers. As a like, spoiler,
we state that Lisa's domineering stepmother is played by the Spy Kids mom's Carla Gugino. It was a good feeling to watch her get murdered by the creature after committing another act of harassment toward Lisa in her bedroom. He bangs her on the head, and it was their first kill. It was unexpected and shocking because it was the first time you found out this was going to be a murder comedy flicker, while fearing for whether our heroine was doomed to a later charge and conviction. Coming close to the end of the program, we make two observations regarding spoiler negatives about the talkie, more like questions against the film's judgment. Firstly, why does Lisa burn herself to death at the end? She decides to evade police capture, who have found sufficient evidence that she is responsible for the recent town murders, by having the zombie creature max out the heat of a tanning booth with her inside. You don't question her mental stability even through all the murders until then, when she could have found another way to self-kill painlessly. And after the jig is up, we briefly see that the creature has fully reverted to human form, and he has resurrected Lisa in the final scene, with a fully bandaged body. Maybe from murdering so many more people to collect fresh body parts to reconstruct both him and his beloved. It isn't explained. You also don't know how he was able to resurrect her, along with not letting her get caught again so that they could get to that harmonious point in their relationship of scandalousness. Him reading poetry to her relaxing body on a park bench. And in hindsight, you wish that they could have had a full sequence portraying that revival to make the most of the horror love story. That's it for today, folks. In conclusion, there is more to spit than to swallow about Lisa if you're looking for legitimate love, horror, or comedy. Cheerio, lads.